The Australian Open champion reflects on her surge in popularity following her latest win. Naomi Osaka, photo by Chrysaline Kayo, copyright at Sport Vision. Naomi Osaka has kicked off her title defense at the BNP Paribas Open with a straight sets win over France's Kristina Mladenovic. World number 1 Osaka, who lost to Mladenovic in Dubai last month, made sure that history wouldn't repeat itself once more, securing a 82-minute 6-3, 6-4 victory with a mixed performance that saw her hit 24 winners alongside 24 unforced errors. Furthermore, she saved 3 out of the 4 break points faced and claimed 67% of points behind her first serve, making it the 61st match in a row that Osaka has won, after claiming the opening set. "I just learned to be really positive and not give her anything," Osaka reflected about her latest win. "Of course there are some points that I made a few really bad choices, but other than that, I just tried to do a higher percentage shot. A lot has changed since the 21-year-old claimed her maiden WTA title in Indian Wells 12 months ago. Since then, she has won 2 consecutive Grand Slams and topped the WTA rankings, becoming the first Asian player in history to do so. Along with her breakthrough run, has been a sudden rise of fame for the Japanese player with a surge in endorsements and media attention. Something that hasn't been easy for the introverted Osaka at times. "I wasn't nervous walking onto the court. I would say more during my practice, because I was practicing on court 3. And then when I got there, there were so many people and it felt so different from last time I was here," she said. "I don't know. I just wanted to do well for all the people that were watching. Yeah, but when I walked onto the court, I was fine. It felt like normal." Even away from the tennis courts, Osaka is still starstruck by her popularity. According to official ratings, her Australian Open final clash with Petra Kvitova was the most watched program in Japan during the Australian Open. The last 75 minutes of the match on NHK-1 averaged 32.30 rating points, equivalent to an impressive 45% market share. "I don't want to call them random people, but random people stop me and want to take pictures. It usually shocks me, because it's sometimes not what I'm anticipating it," she explained. "Like, if I'm at the tournament site, then I'm cool with it, because I know it's a tennis tournament. But if I'm just walking around in, like, a mall or something, then it just catches me off guard." Osaka will play home favorite Danielle Collins in the 3rd round on Monday. 25th-seeded Collins reached the 4th round of the tournament last year and is an Australian Open semi-finalist. The American dropped only 5 games during her opening match against Kirsten Flipkens, winning 6-4, 6-1. "And she played well in Australia, and I was remembering watching her semis against Kvitova. I think I'm just going to have to watch a lot of videos," the world number 1 said about her upcoming match. Osaka thrashed Collins 6-1, 6-0, in their first meeting on the tour at the China Open last October. The world number 3 opens up about the talk she had with the 9-time Grand Slam winner, Petra Kvitova, at the 2019 Australian Open. At Sport Vision, Chrysaline Kayo, 2-time Wimbledon champion Petra Kvitova has spoken about her meeting with former world number 1 Monica Seles following her knife attack in December 2016. Kvitova was forced to miss almost 6 months of competitive action after her left hand was injured during a confrontation with an attacker in her home. Involved in a tussle with the individual, who had a knife, the Czech received damage to the nerves and tendons in her hand, resulting in her undergoing extensive surgery. Shortly after the incident, Kvitova spoke with Seles about her experience. Seles was stabbed in the back during a match at the 1993 Citizen Cup in Hamburg, an incident that had a devastating impact on her career, with the American not returning to the tour for 2 years. Her attacker was Gunter Parcha, a Steffi Graf fan with a history of mental illness. "We met each other and decided we were looking to talk about what we'd been through," Reuters quoted Kvitova as saying during Media Day at Indian Wells on Wednesday. "It was nice to meet someone who has been through something very similar. It was a big surprise that she wanted to talk with me and say nice words. It was one of the biggest things I've ever heard, and from such a legend, to hear what happened to her." Last month, Kvitova testified in the trial of a 33-year-old man charged with her attack. Giving a detailed account of what happened, the 28-year-old said there was blood everywhere, and she gave her attacker 10,000 crowns $440. Kvitova still hasn't got any sensitivity in the tips of her hand. "With my experience, I am not sure if I am going to be 100% one day, and I'm not sure if she is either," she said of CLS. "But hopefully she is happy and can enjoy her life as much as she can." Since returning from her attack at the 2017 French Open, Kvitova has won 9 titles on the WTA Tour. This season she has already featured in 3 finals, including the Australian Open where she was runner-up to Naomi Osaka. Kvitova is the 3rd seed at this week's BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells. She will play her first match on Friday against either Venus Williams or Andrea Petkovic. The Canadian has come out on top in the winner-takes-all event in California. Milos Raonic, photo by Chrysaline Caio, copyright at Sport Vision. Former Wimbledon finalist Milos Raonic has won $150,000 in less than 2 hours at the Eisenhower Cup on Tuesday night. The Canadian was one of 8 players participating in the Tie Breaks 10s event, which is being played in Indian Wells for the first time in history. Unlike tradition tennis, matches are the first players to 10 points, with a winning margin of 2 or more points. Almost 8,000 people turned up to watch the event, which also featured the likes of Rafael Nadal, Marin Cilic and Stan Wawrinka. "I'm just grateful to be a part of this," Raonic said during the evening. https://twitter.com/vinparibas/open/status/1103179187009941505. Raonic's path to victory saw him score wins over Gael Monfils 10-7 and Marin Cilic 10-3. In the final, he took of 3-time Grand Slam champion Wawrinka, who saved a match point before defeating Nadal earlier in the night. The Canadian prevailed 10-6 in the final. Full results: Match 1, Marin Cilic def. David Goffin, 11-9. Match 2, Milos Raonic def. Gael Monfils, 10-7. Match 3, Stan Wawrinka def. Dominic Thiem, 10-5. Match 4, Rafael Nadal def. Taylor Fritz, 10-8. Semi-final 1, Milos Raonic d. Marin Cilic, 10-3. Semi-final 2, Stan Wawrinka def. Rafael Nadal, 13-11. Final, Milos Raonic def. Stan Wawrinka, 10-6. Besides the tennis, the evening also raised more than $500,000 for 4 local charities: the Eisenhower Medical Center, Bighorn Golf Club Charities, Family YMCA of the Desert, and Patient Safety Movement Foundation. 100% of ticket sales for the event were donated to the charities. "It's always a pleasure to be able to give back to something you love," BNPParibasOpen.com quoted Cilic as saying. "For us, it's a simple thing to entertain the crowd, hit the ball around and try to give our best. Out of those things, we can make something great. It's a special night to help out in a charitable way, especially for this region." The event took place on the eve of the start of this year's BNP Paribas Open. Novak Djokovic is the top seed in the men's draw and Naomi Osaka is the top seed in the women's. This year's champion will win 1,000 ranking points and $1,340,860 in prize money. Embed from Getty Images. Kyrgios will be bidding to become the first Australian to win the tournament since Leighton Hewitt back in 2006. Nick Kyrgios at the 2018 Fever Tree Championships. Photo by Alberto Pizzoli. Australian star Nick Kyrgios has become the latest player to confirm their presence at this year's Fever Tree Championships in London. Kyrgios, who recently won the Mexican Open in Acapulco, is set to play at the Queen's Club for the 5th time in his career. In 2018 he achieved his best-ever result at the tournament by reaching the semi-finals before losing in 2 tiebreakers to Marin Cilic. It was during that year where he defeated 5-time champion Andy Murray, a player he hopes to emulate this year by winning the title. "I know what I can do if I'm feeling good, and I want to show that on the grass at Queen's and Wimbledon this year," said Kyrgios. "The Fever Tree Championships is a great event. One of my good mates Andy Murray won the title 5 times there, so that shows how important it is. The courts are perfect, they suit my game, and if I go well there it will set me up perfectly for Wimbledon." The 23-year-old is currently in good form following a battle with injuries over recent months. In Acapulco, he scored 3 wins over top 10 players within 7 days for the first time in his career. A performance that he has seen his rise back up the world rankings to 33rd position. "When Nick plays like he did in Acapulco, he is one of the best and most exciting tennis players in the world," tournament director Stephen Farrow commented in a press release. "We have always believed in his ability. He reached our semi-finals last year, and we would love to see him put the tennis he played last week onto the grass at the Queen's Club against a player field that already contains so many good names." Kyrgios is the latest addition to the ATP 500 tournament, which is played in West Kensington, London on the grass. Defending champion Cilic, Stefanos Tsitsipas and Kyle Edmund have also confirmed their presence. In last year's final, Cilic defeated Novak Djokovic to record only his 2nd victory over the world number 1. "Winning the Fever Tree Championships last year was one of the highlights of my career," said Cilic. "It was a close final and fight back against Novak Djokovic, and came after I was narrowly beaten by Feliciano Lopez in the final a year earlier. I have always loved playing at the Queen's Club, and it will be a special feeling to try to defend my title in 2019. The Fever Tree Championships will take place between June 17 to 23. It will be the 117th edition of the event, which was first played back in 1881.